What's good, my peoples? It's your boy Jesus Christ, the Solace. I want to do this quick video for y'all. The sperm is the spirit or soul. The egg is the body. Now, you have to understand when I say that, I mean that literally. It's not like allegory speaking or like how Jesus spoke and it's liking. No, I mean this literal. The spirit and all of that shit you've been hearing your whole life, that you're a spiritual, eternal being, that's that sperm. That egg, your body, how they say, oh, the body is like a vehicle, it's nothing. That is that egg. So you have to understand, when I say things, I mean them literal. Now, I know y'all used to books, and y'all used to this and that, and y'all used to, if someone says something, then you have to look into a book or get a confirmation from another man or something to solidify it. But I don't get my knowledge from a book or a man. So when I speak, I'm not speaking in the words of the book or the men. I'm speaking in my own words because I'm getting the knowledge. The knowledge is not being given to me in words. I'm seeing it. See, it's different when a brother is explaining knowledge to you that he read or that was told to him, as opposed to him seeing it. So this is why when I explain things, y'all say, damn, he mad simple. How he do that? Because I see these things that I am speaking of. I'm not just talking because I heard this. And this is why when I explain things and I show it to you, you don't need to look in a book to understand what I'm saying. Look into what I am saying. I'm not saying anything foreign. You know what sperm is. Look at sperm. Why are you looking for a book? Why are you going to your teacher saying, he said sperm is the spirit? You don't need to ask him nothing. If he didn't bring this up to you, he don't know. So you don't need to ask him. What you need to do is go look at sperm. Go look into how a baby is born. How the sperm goes into the egg. Then that's when you will see if I know what I'm talking about. But asking a man who's never brought this up or looking into books that didn't bring this up, you're not going to find what I'm speaking of. But anything I'm speaking of, it's everywhere. You can see it. It won't be hard to find. So now, let me break this down to y'all. How the egg is the body. Now, you have to understand. The sperm is like the primordial soup. So when you read in books of the primordial soup is where all life began, it is speaking of the sperm. Now, y'all probably like, so you tell it, see, this is where y'all minds get lost. Because you like, man, everything originated from sperm. But you're thinking men's sperm. I'm talking primordial soup of sperm, motherfucker. You got to wake up and get into a certain level for me to give you the knowledge. Or you're going to be asking me stupid shit. Nothing I'm saying is complex, so I need y'all to fully start to try to grasp. Now, the primordial soup is speaking of sperm. So when you see primordial soup or words like this, it is speaking of your soup, your juice. Now, you have to understand. When they look, if they cut a man open, you're not gonna find sperm somewhere in him housed. So we got to get a level of understanding. If you cut a man's balls open, blood is gonna come out. Water's gonna come out. A whole bunch of shit, but you ain't no sperm gonna come out. So you have to understand what the sperm is. The sperm is coming from developed sperm. See, me right now, I'm 33. So now, if I shoot out some sperm right now, that is coming from the being that is in me, that the sperm has grew into. The body is just the egg it went into. So don't get it twisted. When the sperm went into the egg, the sperm continues to develop in the egg. This is why the egg develops into the embryo. There's a stage before the embryo, but I don't know the name because I'm not a scientist. But ask a scientist, he'll tell you, yeah, young boy know what the fuck he talking about. The embryo goes to the fetus. The egg goes to the embryo, to the fetus, to the baby. That is not the sperm doing that you're seeing. The sperm didn't become the fetus or the embryo. The egg became that. The sperm was still inside, developing. This is where the conscious, the thought, everything that you are and think of and do, it is coming from that sperm. That is the energy. But that sperm has grew over 33 years into a force almost inside the body. It is making the body run. It's like energy. The being that the sperm has grew into is the energy making the eggshell do what it does. This is why the eggshell is warm. So when I shoot out sperm, you have to understand that is not coming from this. This is why if you cut this open, you won't find sperm loosely in the body, because it's coming from the energy. The energy. And then it's coming into the physical. The way I broke down how unphysical becomes physical. So when the sperm comes out of me, that is coming from my spirit, which is that same sperm, but in an adult now. This is why a baby cannot do that, because their sperm is still fucking primordial soup. And yours is no longer that. It has been in that egg for a minute now. This is the egg. Your sperm has been inside there for a long time now. So you can only, if you can understand what I'm saying, then you can grasp how developed your sperm is. Just by looking at your body and understanding, damn, this body was an egg. Then it became an embryo, a fetus, and so on, and it developed. So now you have to grasp, well, goddamn, if the goddamn egg did all of this, because the sperm went in it, because understand, the egg won't do that on its own. If the sperm don't go into the egg is pushed out in the period. So the egg don't do this. So then you got to ask yourself, what the fuck is the sperm? Because the sperm is powerful as shit if it can make the egg transform into what you see. What does the sperm look like inside the motherfucker now? Because I know it don't look like soup no more. Ain't possible it could look like soup. If it made the body transform, it had to transform. And this is what it's transforming for. For when it leaves the egg. The same way a chicken leaves the egg. It's no different. But when you think of chicken egg, you think of any egg. And when I say this is an egg, you say this don't look like no goddamn egg. And that's because you're not a chicken. So why would you expect your egg to look like into a chicken? You are more complex than a chicken. You are way bigger than a chicken. So why would you expect your egg to look like a chicken's egg? You have to understand this is why I say you have to humble yourself to understand knowledge. Now, when I humble myself, I am not humbling myself to man, because can't no man teach me nothing. What man is going to tell me this? I humble myself to get my knowledge from earth in all, not man. Man's lost. So when I observe a chicken in the egg, I can understand. And understand the egg in the woman and how the sperm went in. The sperm is just like the yolk. The yolk became the chicken and it came out the egg. The sperm went into the egg as yolk. But the egg haven't cracked yet. So what has the yolk became? And this is where y'all have to get on a level with me so I can feed y'all and give y'all this knowledge. Because as of now, y'all are speaking of things like Nibiru and aliens and all type of things. And if you do not grasp the simplicity, base foundation of what life is, when you come in contact to other life, In other things, you will be completely lost. And this is how men become exploited. This is how men become enslaved. This is how men be happy to be in this state, because they don't realize there's other states of beings to live in. We think America's great, especially when we hear about what's going on in Africa and all in the Middle East. We like, oh yeah, this is the best. Mind you, we all are enslaved. You're happy to be a slave because you have no knowledge of what a true slave is, from its minute level to its worst scenario case of what a slave is. See, you have to understand what the minute level of a slave is. You have to understand what a servant is to understand, oh, I see how slavery can come about. Because servant and slave is no different. It's just the treatment. And bad treatment will get worse. And worse treatment will become extreme. And this is how a motherfucker becomes adjusted to extreme treatment. And he's cool with it. Because he has no knowledge of the good. And this is where we have to understand, man, everything that we think is good ain't good. And everything we think is bad ain't bad. But you have no knowledge of balance, unphysical, physical. You have no knowledge that the sperm is the spirit and the body is the egg. So everything becomes lost for you. There's no balance. This is why if a Christian reads the Bible and he breaks down the 7-day creation and then he say it was all good, why didn't God just say it was all perfect? Because perfect ain't good. Just like bad ain't good. But you have things confounded in your mind. Now, I know a lot of y'all like, how is perfect not good? Perfect is better than good. No, perfect is the exact equivalent of what bad is. And bad is the exact equivalent of what perfect is. It's the extreme. Good lies within the middle of perfect and bad, making it the true perfection. Because any extreme, I don't care whether it's good or bad, it will become the other. So a person who is too good, who has never done any bad, they never speak bad, they never do anything, is likened to a bad person who does everything. He does everything. He gains knowledge through struggle. You do nothing. You are the equivalent of him on the flip side because you know nothing. You are nothing. So just because you're good doing nothing, you know nothing. You are nothing. You are inferior. So don't get this shit twisted and start to think that you have to understand the balance and how everything is the same. Opposites are the same. They are just on one end of each of the stick. They are both the extremes. And somewhere within the opposites lies the balance in the middle. So good, so bad, perfect. These are the extremes. They are not opposites. They are the same. In the middle lies good. That is the balance. So we have to understand this. When I'm breaking down the sperm is the spirit and the egg is the body, and you're watching this right now, and you haven't seen the video prior to this, what is the ego? What is the human? You ain't seen none of these. You're going to be lost. It's a process. You have to grasp one video in its entirety. So that when I go to the next video, you're not lost. Because y'all are still looking at the things I say on a superficial level. As in, not literal. Because this is how y'all used to people speaking to y'all. Not literal. They'll tell you, I can explain the spirit, but then when you say, well, what is it? Show me it. No, you can't see it because it's invisible. And it's a deep thing. You just gotta let me enlighten you, my brother. He don't know what he talking about. Any motherfucking thing a nigga tell you, and he can't show you. Like I said, I could tell you where the spirit at. I know the spirit. I understand the spirit. Well, where is it, cheese? Sperm. Now you stuck, like, oh shit, a nigga actually answered back. And it makes sense. So this is what I'm telling you. Anything you are told and you cannot be shown it, or shown it in its smallest fashion. Because at the end of the day, anything that's unphysical can be shown in the physical. So if a nigga tell you something is invisible, you make sure you tell him, well, I got understanding that the unphysical and the physical is one and the same, because anything physical came from the unphysical. This is how it became physical. So if you talking to me about something unphysical that I can't see, well, then you show me it physically. And a nigga gonna be stuck. See, if a nigga told me, well, show me air physically, cheese, because I don't believe in air. You got to show me it. If you say air is unphysical and I can't see it, but everything is the same, well, then show me air physically. So then I would show the man water and tell him there's hydrogen mixed in that. And that's how that came, from those two invisible things. So it is always some proof you can physically show a man of what is unphysical. Just like fire, CO2. Wake the fuck up. There's nothing physical that does not have its unphysical properties. Meaning, if it was not for these unphysical properties mingling together, you would never see the physical. Meaning they are one and the same. So we have to stop letting people trick us with big words we don't understand, talking scientist talk we don't understand. You're looking at them, you're like, he's not a scientist. Why is he speaking like that? Because he read it or heard it from some science book or someone who liked science, who didn't fully understand the book they were reading, and this is how he got the knowledge. So he don't fully understand what he's saying. He just understand the words, but not the message. Yeah, y'all got to understand, I'm not here to overshadow anyone or make anyone feel unsmart. I'm one man. I cannot teach the whole world. That is impossible. And all people are not going to grasp it from me. This is why I need the teachers to grasp it. The teachers need to be watching the videos, completely grasping the video, going to the next video. Because then they can teach also. Then we can reach everybody. But one nigga saying one thing and the next nigga saying the next thing, and both of them kind of not really making no sense, is not going to get anybody nowhere. When I start to not make sense, then say something. Up until that point, there's no need for you to question what I'm telling you. You don't have to question. You just go look at fucking sperm and go look at a woman and egg. Someone told me the egg becomes the placenta and so on and so forth. And this is where lack of knowledge kick in. Because one sperm is reaching one egg. The sperm is reaching one egg. There's a bunch of eggs. Some of those eggs become the placenta. Some of those eggs become the embryo. Which is the same thing I told y'all. The egg becomes the embryo, not the sperm. The sperm is still inside all of these things. As the egg is transforming into all of these things, the sperm is still in there, developing the same way a chicken would develop in its egg. You are just too complex to hatch in the womb. Just can't hatch in the womb. It takes years and years for what that sperm is to develop into what it will be when you die, or what we call death, which is you basically going into your next world in your next form, which would be that sperm that's growing into you now. That will be going into its next world, because the next world has to be bigger than this one. This one is not big enough for what a spirit is. Just like the baby, which is the man, is too big to live in the woman. It has to come out and live in the world, the same world that the woman it came from is living in. It has to do that because it is the woman now. Just like you're developing in earth, you will become too big for earth. Literally, the same way the baby became too big. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Everything I'm saying is literal. You will ascend in lives the same way you ascended from the embryo in the sperm. You have ascended all the way until now. When you die, you will reborn into whatever that sperm has developed into its magnificence. That would be your new form, your new body. Your new world or life will not be Earth no more. You must leave Earth. Earth is too small for your new body in your mind. Because you will become like an Earth. A spirit is nothing more than the sperm or the yolk of what an Earth is. Just like sperm is nothing but the soup and juices and shit as what a man is. The recipe of a man is sperm. The recipe of a star is a spirit. But the spirit is more complex than the man and the sperm when it was soup. Because the spirit is now the soup, which is the sperm developed. So it is bigger than the man you see now. My spirit, my sperm that has been in me for 33 years, it is bigger than I am. Gotta understand that. This shit is simple. There's no, y'all too used to spooky talk and holy talk. Santa Claus type of talk. Don't work like that. Reality is reality. Once you stop talking reality, what a nigga can see type shit, then you're lost. Lost. Because reality is reality and bullshit is bullshit. So you got to grasp that. You may have to watch this video 4 times to fully grasp what I'm saying. So that when I break down to y'all the deities within the deities, which is going to be me breaking down to you eternity. See, I'm breaking down to y'all now sperm, eggs, and man. Sperm and eggs. I'm breaking that down. Next, I'm trying to break down to you spirits and stars. Physically, though. People. So you can grasp to understand. So when I take you into eternity, you can understand what I mean when I say you're ascending in your life. In your lives. When you came out the womb, you ascended from that life to a new life in new form. And it's not going to stop. When you die here, you're going to ascend to a new life in a new form. Liking to what you left, but in its baby stages. And this keeps happening. It stops happening when you stop gaining knowledge and you feel like I know all. Then you become in that veil of darkness and you don't receive anything. This is why everybody's lost now. Then you stop ascending. Then you live that existence you're in. So it's like a man living this reality right here for eternity. Not realizing you live for eternity already, dickhead. You just living for eternity in the fucking bottom. Ascend to where the eternal live at. So you can enjoy it right. Any man that wants to live on this physical earth for eternity is a fool. Because he already lives for eternity. Just on better worlds. In better realities. In better forms to where he can do what he needs to do. So, we got to understand, man. It's your boy Solace, man. I got about 4 more videos to go, man. I hope y'all starting to grasp something. Please.